Hello folks, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. It's your boy back at it again with another video. As you can tell by the title, it's another ranking video. And this time, I'm ranking a franchise that I've properly watched for the first time. And as you can tell here by the title, it's the Alien franchise. Yeah, I'd only watched. It's crazy to think that I've known about this franchise since I was a young lad in middle school, when I first got into movies properly and stuff like that. Always been aware of the Alien franchise. Watched the first one, vaguely remember it. I did rewatch Alien for the first again for over 10 years, a couple years ago, and then I rewatched Alien in preparation for Alien Romulus that came out, because I wasn't intending on seeing Alien Romulus in the cinema. But my friend Mac, who works at Odeon, was like, "Do you want to go see it?" After we saw, I can't remember what we saw. Might have been In a Violent Nature or Maxine, I think. We came out and he said, "Do you want to go watch it?" So I watched Alien in preparation, as I know it was set after that, and then afterwards I watched the entire franchise. And here we are. So I decided, obviously I've done the Child's Play ranking video. Go watch that. That's my first, and this is my second ever ranking video. So I thought, why not? This might ruffle some feathers. If you do not like it, leave a dislike and go make your own video, like I said in the last one, because these are just my opinion. It's just my opinion on this franchise. And yeah, obviously I will not be including Alien vs Predator in this one, and the same if I did a Predator ranking video, I wouldn't include that as well, because it's its own canon and it's a mixture of both franchises. So yeah, I will not be putting Alien vs Predator 1 or 2 in this ranking video. It will just be the 7 Alien movies that we have so far. And without any further ado, let's get on with it. Coming in at number 7, it has to be Alien Resurrection. Now, this movie has some cool ideas in it. It has some cool imagery. I'll get some positives out of the way. Example, when they're all lined up against the wall and all they've got all the eggs in front of them. It's a horror. That's a cool idea. I like how the xenomorph is explained that by whatever host it has, it takes more of their appendages. So the fact that they've cloned Ripley to rebirth the alien and it becomes a more human alien, I think was quite creepy. That, like, the practical design, again, the practical use of effects in this movie still look very good. Like the alien, the newborn as well, is a freaky ass design. I love that. Like, and the bit where it gets sucked out of the window and it's out and it starts screaming and like a human. I was like, oh no, very unsettling. It was very unsettling in a lot of places, but overall, it was just like, overall as a movie, I did have fun with it. I didn't hate it, but it was just the most pointless movie in the franchise, if you ask me. It just didn't add anything together. After the original trilogy, I thought they rounded that up quite nicely, and then they just bring it back, and it was like the Sigourney Weaver clearly didn't want to be there, so making her an emotionless clone was probably the best thing that they could have done to keep her on board. Yeah, the rest of the cast is just very unforgettable, and there's some big names in this movie, like Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Brad Dourif, like some big names. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say anyone's overly bad. Well, some of them were forgettable actors, like the leader of like the renegade party who come aboard this massive ship, which are wanting to clone the alien queen. Mostly forgettable, apart from Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder, and the guy in the wheelchair. I really like the guy in the wheelchair. He was a good actor. But yeah, the leader of whoever ship it is, forgettable performance. I just was like, I came away from it thinking I didn't get anything new out of this. So yeah, some cool effects, some not too bad performances from some people, but then yeah, just do not want to go rewatch it. I can't lie to you. So yeah, that's it. Alien Resurrection is in last place. And at number 6 is Alien Covenant. So, what do I think about Alien Covenant? I was a big fan of Prometheus, which I'll talk about when we get to it. And what did I think of it? It felt a bit of a step down from Prometheus. I can't lie to you. Obviously, there was a lot of backlash from it, apparently, for not having enough alien action. So this feels invertedly that they were just trying to add more alien action to it, and I'm not particularly a fan of that, to be honest. Like, I thought the whole point of the trilogy that was coming before Alien was supposed to be about the engineers and how we got to the xenomorphs, and I feel like Prometheus asked a lot of new questions, and this movie just didn't, just skipped all over those and just started doing its own thing, and we didn't get answers to those new questions. I also not a fact of the. I'm not a fan of the fact that the engineers were wiped out in a small flashback. I think that was a bit. I was like, are you taking the fucking piss out of me? Yeah. The cast is also a bit of a step down from the previous entry in the trilogy. There was not as many memorable performances as Prometheus, because Prometheus was a very stacked cast, whereas this, I was just like, I wasn't that overly interested. The big shining star of this movie is Michael Fassbender, is David and Walter. Like, I think David is such an interesting character. The fact that we're following more of a synthetic instead of an actual human lead, I think is really good. He makes for a good villain, aside from the xenomorphs, which I quite enjoy, to be fair. It's nice to have a newer, fresher face on the villain aspect of the franchise. Yeah. It just felt, it felt, yeah. I like the ending. The ending was good, the twist, the reveal. But yeah, and I think it's a shame now, really, because after watching that, I'm like, are we ever going to get the third one? Are we even get in any form? And I think that really annoys me. Like, I hate when directors start doing trilogies and they don't finish it, and it's like, if we're not going to get this trilogy finished, it's just going to sour my mood on this movie more as I get older. I feel like I still had some very enjoyable moments, good music, looks really good, but yeah, overall it's just this, it's now just going to be seen as this unfinished thing to me. And yeah, unfortunately Alien Covenant was just didn't do a lot for me. So coming in at 5th place, we're going with Alien Romulus, because yeah, I did enjoy it. I think it was nice to go back to a more practical effects thing, as obviously, well, to be fair, Covenant was quite CGI heavy in a lot of places, so it was nice to see a more practical effects. The beginning was good. It was nice. I like seeing the fact that we're actually set on a colony world, whereas I know a lot of these movies are just set in space in space stations or planets that don't have really anything on. So it was nice to see a more human life, like colony and stuff like that, was quite interesting. I thought the fact that the ship was going to crash on the planet and we were going to see like the xenomorphs taking over the thing. Yeah, well acted. I didn't mind anyone. I really liked Andy. Andy's the standout character, the synthetic. He was very good. He's probably one of the best synthetics that we've had in the franchise, to be fair. Well, most of the synthetic characters we've had are really, really good. With Bishop, Rook, Andy, David, Walt, I think they're all fantastic. They're probably one of the synthetic characters are really highlights in the Alien franchise. It was a good horror aspect. I really enjoyed the setting. I think the station looked really cool. What do I think of the overall movie? It does feel like a big... As much as I enjoyed it, I did quite enjoy it. It did just feel like a big mashup of all of the other franchises, of everything we've done before. So a big like best of sort of film, which I don't hate it for, obviously. I think coming out of it now, it has... I think, again, it is the souring of the fact that we're not getting that third Ridley prequel film, that I'm just like, why have we got this movie? I like how Ridley is involved, and it does link back to that original prequel trilogy or prequel films and stuff like that, which I'll give it props for. At least it doesn't feel like it's just trying to ignore those movies, pretend they don't exist. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, just don't hate it. I quite enjoyed it. I just feel like the next lot of movies that I'm going to talk about, I get more out of. But Alien Romulus was still enjoyable. I know a lot of people, it's a very polarizing film. Either people really love it or don't seem to really like it at all. So yeah, this is where Alien Romulus sits on my list. It's like, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad film put together. I think it's quite... I like that, the fact it tried to go more for a horror aspect than just a straight sci-fi movie, which I appreciate. Going back to more of its horror roots like you see in the original Alien, whereas obviously the 2 prequel films and the latter, or Resurrection, were more sci-fi films. And then Aliens, I would probably say Alien 3 is a very more horror film, I would say. But yeah, Alien Romulus sits in 5th spot. Going in at 4th place, we're going to go with Prometheus. I know a lot of people don't like Prometheus, but after I finished it, I really don't understand the hate it got. I think it looks gorgeous. I think, like, just visually throughout the entire film, the imagery is so striking. I love this old abandoned engineer facility. I think the human ship, the Prometheus, looks fantastic. The engineers themselves look amazing. I think the one shoddy effect is when the guy who is turning into a prototype xenomorph or whatever, it looks a bit iffy, but for the majority of the film, it looks absolutely stunning. I think it looks great. The music is amazing as well. I think it really helps sets the tone. Again, this is when we're introduced to David as a character. I think he's great, and yeah, I like learning more about the engineers, and I like how the fact this is more of a sci-fi than a horror movie, because it's not trying to be Alien, which I appreciate. I just think, I just really enjoy Prometheus. I just really did. I got a lot out of it personally. My favourite scene in the entire movie is when they wake up the engineer, and then he sees them and he rips fucking David's heads off and starts battering them all like he hates us, which is nice. I like that. I think it was really good. I really enjoyed Prometheus. I just got a lot out of it personally. I just really enjoyed it, and I was like, I just don't see the point of the hate it gets personally, but that's just me. But yeah, Prometheus takes the 4th spot. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great way to start a new prequel trilogy. I'm glad it wasn't trying to just be the first Alien or any of the Alien films before it. It was just trying to tell a new story that was leading up to the events that we already knew. But yeah, I'm not one of these people that thinks like explaining something away makes it less scary, because I still think after rewatching the first Alien, I still think it's as suspenseful as it ever was. So I don't think it diminishes anything in the first Alien film personally. So yeah. Now, my 3rd place is probably going to ruffle some feathers maybe, but yeah, and it is Alien 3. Alien 3 is in the 3rd spot, and this is not the theatrical version. If we only got the theatrical version, this movie would be way lower on the list, but the special edition edit, producer's cut, assembly cut, whatever the fuck it's called, which is more in line with David Fincher's vision, is fantastic. I think it's a great Alien movie. I think it was a nice way of ending the Alien trilogy. I was talking to this with my co-worker Stephen at work, because we're both big movie fans. We talk about movies all the time, and he was interested to know what my Alien ranking was. And when we talked about Alien 3 and the fact that like the characters get killed off from aliens right at the beginning of the movie, and it's very depressing. It really does set the tone of how bleak this movie is. I quite like a bleak movie, I can't lie to you. I like the fact that it's set on a different planet. Again, it's just survival. Like, I like how it's, again, not like Alien 1, obviously we've got a different kind of xenomorph, and learning more about them, and the fact that this is a specific type that is there to protect the new alien queen. And I like the idea of it being all the people who are cast in this movie, I think, are fantastic. This prison colony that have no weapons, it really, like, whereas similar in Alien, where there's only like one alive one, but the difference is like it's 2 different kinds of threat. Whereas in Alien, they didn't know what it was, so they didn't know how to kill it. Whereas Ripley now knows how to kill them. They have no weapons, so they have to be creative. And I like the fact that they have to be creative with it. Some of the drawbacks in this movie, obviously, is the CGI. When you see the CGI alien, it doesn't look very good. But then there are parts of the movie where we do get an actual physical alien costume, and it looks as great as it did before. I think the alien costume looks good. I like the whiter skin, like the more pale look of this type of xenomorph as well. I think it makes it differentiate from the aliens we've had before, which is nice. Obviously, a performance that you don't get to see in the theatrical version is Paul McGann, and Paul McGann's character in Alien 3 is a really great performance, and I feel like more people should seek out this cut of the movie because it is a lot better of a movie. I think by the end of it, it did just tie up the original trilogy quite nicely, and I wish it was just those 3 films. It's obviously not as good as Aliens and Alien, I will say that, like, don't get it twisted, but I got a lot out of it, and I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I think it's severely underrated and overhated. Yeah, theatrical cut maybe, but I think if you've only seen the theatrical cut, go out and search for the assembly cut, because yeah, it's a much better version of the movie. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, Alien 3 takes the 3rd spot. Now, 1 and 2, obviously, I didn't ruffle any feathers because of the fact that, well, obviously the 2 best Alien movies are going to take the first and 2nd spot. So I was umming and ahhing with these positionings of this movie, and I think what it comes down to, which one of these movies you put first, is more what kind of film person you are. As you know, I'm a big sci-fi fan. Look, this glass cabinet here full of Doctor Who stuff, big sci-fi man, but I'm also a massive horror fan. So in 2nd place, I'm going to put the 2nd Alien movie, Aliens. This movie is fantastic. It is, without a doubt, one of the best sci-fi action / horror movies out there. It is a great film. James Cameron did a very good job, and it's a very good follow-on from the original Alien. I think the setting is really good. The cast is fantastic. I love Bill Paxton in it. It's game over, man. Game over. Sigourney Weaver is fantastic in it as well. She does a fantastic job. Didn't even mind, what was it, Pip? Is that her name? Yeah, she didn't mind her. The Alien Queen looked absolutely fantastic when she's obviously got Pip on her, and then she's threatening to blow up all the eggs and stuff like that, and the battle at the end as well. Oh, it's just... Aliens is a fantastic movie. It is a great sequel, and you already know that it's a fantastic movie, and it's one of the best. But in number 1, it has to go to the OG. Absolutely fucking love Alien. Alien takes number 1. It's the fact that this movie is from 1979, and it holds up so well. The suspense, the acting, the music. Like, I love this movie because it has such a grand sense of scale. Like, when you look at the spaceships, or when you go on the engineer's ship for the first time, huge, massive sets. And then when we get back on the ship, and it's all, and the xenomorph is about and stuff like that, it's so claustrophobic and scary. And yet, like, the difference, like the contrast of like the scale to claustrophobic moments are amazing. The cast, obviously, Sigourney Weaver, fantastic. John Hurt, like, just the entire fucking cast. The guy who plays Ash. It's just such a good movie. The music is fantastic, and it's just hands down one of the best horror movies of all time, one of the best sci-fi horror movies of all time. It's just fantastic. It's also one of the other reasons why I'm just like, yeah, 70s horror is fantastic, because Alien, what a movie. What an absolute movie. But that's it, guys. That's my ranking of the Alien franchise. Like I said, if you don't agree with my list, that's your preference. It's not mine. This is just my ranking of the movies. Leave in the comments below your ranking. I'd like to see what other people have said and what they... Obviously, most people are either going to say Alien is their favourite or Aliens. But yeah, I'd like to see whether they put the rest of the movies on their list, because I know one of my mates said that Resurrection was quite high for them, and I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. But yeah, anyway, guys, hope you did enjoy. Don't know what my next ranking video will be, or when that will be. So yeah, if you did enjoy, cheers, like and subscribe. If you're new around here, welcome. Hope you find something that you enjoy. Yeah, that's it. I've been your boy. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.